Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this month's Project of the Month. We're at month 17, and this month we're going to create napkins. We're going to create them from simple rolled hems all the way up to elegant dinner napkins. I'm looking for ways to help the environment, and the amount of paper products we're using is amazing. So I always used cloth napkins as my kids were growing up because it was an affordable option for us. Well, now that we're looking at not using so much paper, we're going to look at easy napkins. We're going to look at how we can do mitered corners. We're just going to look at a lot of fun tonight. So we're going to get started, but the first thing we need to look at is what kind of materials do we need. Now the first thing is, obviously, we're going to use fabric. And I will tell you what makes a great napkin is getting a fat quarter, because napkins, you cut them 18 by 18, except for our final napkin, which is going to be out of linen. We're going to do an elegant napkin, and it will be 20 inches by 20 inches when we cut it. So first off, we're going to look at making a rolled hem napkin, and we're doing things a little bit backwards tonight. We're going to create the napkins prior to doing our embroidery. Now here's a real nice folded edge napkin where we've mitered the corners. It's a real cool little technique. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at napkins for the kids. Now here's a napkin that I've done. This is a little girl's. It's got a beautiful black back that will attract her, but it has fabric that they're going to use the wash away colored markers on, and you can get these on Amazon, Walmart, whatever but they just wash out. They're like watercolor markers, but they can sit and color these napkins, which I think is really fun. We're also going to look at doing an elegant dinner napkin with a beautiful hem stitch done. We're going to do hem stitching, and we're going to do a beautiful mitered border. So that's going to be tonight's project. So now let's go back and look at the rest of the things we're going to need to use. Put my napkins back over here because I have very carefully stacked all this, so it's going to go really smooth. Okay, we are going to use, when we do get to the hoop, we're going to use, you can use either Floriani's Perfect Stick. Now remember, Perfect Stick has a tacky top, but you're going to score the paper, pull it away, and it's half water soluble and half fiber. So using it on the back of these napkins is great, because when you have a little outline or something, when you wash it, that is going to come away, but the fibers will stay underneath the napkin. Now if you've got something you just don't want any stabilizer left with, even though the Perfect Stick will wash away and you won't see it around your designs, we could also use Wet and Gone Tacky. Now this also has a tacky top, but of course this washes away completely out of your napkins. Now if you're using a heavier design, this would not be my choice. Now if it's a light design, this would work just fine. But remember, we always want to support those stitches. We don't want that washing out and eventually our napkin's not looking good with the embroidery because it doesn't have stabilizer left in it. Now we are going to need, for our hem stitching, now you can either use a hem stitch needle, it's a wing needle, and it's shaped kind of like a little fan. We want a size 120, which is going to poke a nice hole in there, and what it does is a hem stitch goes into the same hole several times. Well, you're using this to kind of push the weave of that fabric apart, and then those stitches come in and hold it open, so it's got that hem stitching, those little holes in the fabric that looks so nice. Now I have also found when you buy a hem stitch needle, you get one, and they're the same price as if you buy your top stitch needles or your denim needle. As long as you buy a size 100, either your denim or your top stitch needle will affect the same thing, poking holes in that fabric, because we're using linen. Now if I was using an Irish linen, a real fine linen, I would probably go back to the wing needle. But for what we're doing with a heavier linen, the top stitch or the denim needle work amazing. Now, of course, we're going to use Floriani chrome needles because we do have an adhesive on our stabilizers. And remember, chrome stays cool so it doesn't heat up and have the adhesive stick to it. The reason adhesives stick to needles is a lot of times the needles get so hot that it just kind of melts on, where our adhesives are made so that they don't stick to your needles normally. But a lot of times, especially with hem stitching, you're going in and out the same hole over and over and over. So always use chrome so they're nice and cool, they don't heat up, and you don't ever have that problem. And also, chrome is very stable. They last longer. They're a nickel-plated needle. They're covered in chrome. They're dipped in chrome so that they're very strong, just like a titanium, but they don't shatter like a titanium. They'll break into two pieces like a regular nickel needle. We're also going to use our Floriani precision turning tool. Now, if you see my videos, you see this over and over and over. If you don't own one, you've got to get one. We are also going to use, of course, our cutting system, our Quilter Select cutting system. And for this, the perfect thing is our 18 by 18 inch Quilter Select square ruler. This is the perfect size of your napkin. We're cutting them all 18 to 18, except the